What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're taking a look at the classic 1995 family ghost film Casper. I wish I was able to get this in October for my Interpreting the Scares event, but it's all good. It's not like this is a horror film or anything. What it is, though, is super impressive. Think about when this movie first came out. It was 1995, a few months before Toy Story came out, and Toy Story was the first fully CGI film to have ever existed, while Casper was the first film to include a fully CGI lead character. And you know what? It's not half bad. Even by today's standards, it works really, really well. But we'll get into that. First, let's talk about the plot. So Casper revolves around a number of different stories that in a way connect and kind of don't at the same time. It's kind of hard to choose a single story to focus on. You almost have to break it down by character since everyone is doing something separate. First, you have Dr. Harvey. Dr. Harvey is a self-appointed ghost psychologist who helps spirits move on when they have unfinished business on this earth. I'm not sure how the ghosts compensate him for psychologically helping them, but I digress. The reason why he's doing this is because he recently lost his wife and has been secretly trying to find her spirit because he misses her and he feels lost without her. All of this causes him to have an estranged relationship with his daughter Kat, played by Christina Ricci. Kat is a character that feels a bit isolated and alone. They're a family that continues to move around, so she doesn't have friends, and her estranged relationship with her only living family member makes her feel like she barely even has a family. Then you have a couple of, let's be honest, random goons that hear about a treasure in an old haunted house that they are trying to find. At the center of everything, of course, is Casper and his three uncles, Stretch, Fatso, and Stinky. Casper is essentially Cinderella, and this is primarily a Cinderella story because, like Kat, Casper feels extremely isolated, especially from his not-so-nice uncles, and is smitten by Kat and actually manipulated the goons into hiring Dr. Harvey to live at the house. Like I said, there's a lot going on in this movie. So many things can cause a bit of a pacing issue, and that's something I think could have been easily fixed by changing two things. First, if they remove the goons entirely. I get it, it's a kids movie, and most kids movies have an obligation to include a villain in the main plot, but almost everything they do in the film is unimportant in the long term. They're chasing after a MacGuffin that you know virtually nothing about, and they simply distract from an already complex story. They should have never been in there in the first place. Next, they could have and should have introduced the Lazarus machine way earlier in this movie because it's really cool, it's very original and unique, and it's just so technically secondary that I'm honestly flabbergasted as to why they approached it like that. Had they approached it earlier, it could have been the primary plot device that the protagonist was thinking about the entire time, not just an afterthought. Another pet peeve. Basically, they wanted to focus a lot of energy on this budding friendship and possibly even more between Casper and Kat. In the scheme of things, though, those are the only negatives that I have to say about Casper because everything else is honestly done incredibly well. This is such a dark, dark movie, but it's also very lighthearted and relatable at the same time. Those tough themes on death and loss specifically were very bold choices to make in a kids movie, but the way it contrasts with the lighthearted nature of Casper, the friendly ghost, and the themes of friendship and love molded this movie into something very, very impressive. It is so hard to find a family film like this. It really, really is. Also, as mentioned before, this was the first time a fully CGI character acted as a lead in a movie, and it wasn't half bad. There was never a moment where I thought to myself that this was bad CGI. He was cartoony, yes, but that's not because of bad CGI. That's just his model, and this is Casper we're talking about. What makes a cartoon CGI character work so well is how he blended into the environment, the lighting in comparison to everything else, the amount of translucent compared to maybe his lit up face, the amount of noise added to his rendered frame to match with the natural noise in the film. It all works really, really well. No matter what, I believe that these ghosts are real to these characters, and that's yet another thing to praise. Two more things, actually. The performances by everyone is really good, really relatable and believable, and that's only improved based on the fact that there weren't ghosts on set. The actors had to act in a lot of these scenes with nobody around, but they act like somebody's there and they're not. They're doing a remarkable job, I'm not even kidding, and they're not the only ones. The people behind the cameras also did an awesome job. Think about it, this was an active camera. It moved quite a bit and followed around a lot of active ghosts doing a number of crazy things, and again, No ghosts were on set, so the cameraman or camera lady had to envision exactly what was happening in this spot or that, when the ghost is gonna go this way or zigzag that. Just to think someone was operating a camera under those insanely specific orders is kind of insane to me. They're filming walls and ceilings and doors as if someone or something is doing something in front of them, but in all actuality, wasn't. I don't know, insane. Maybe I'm just crazy. Anyways, what did I score Casper? Get ready for it. 90%, 90 out of 100 possible stars, granting it the letter grade of A-. Yes, it has some narrative and pacing issues. Yes, they could have done without the stupid random goons and maybe made a more original plot with a clearer objective, but the film we receive still works in all the right ways, it hits all the right feels, and is put together with a beautiful, recognizable original score by James Horner that a ton of current films often struggle with. All in all, this film is a classic that shouldn't be missed. Guys, what did you think about the Casper film that was released in 1995? Were you a fan? And as for YouTube, hit the subscribe button if you like this review, would like to see more like it. Hit the thumbs up button, as that always helps out my channel. And of course, the little bell icon, because that helps notify you when I come out with my next review. But until then, peace!